Welcome to This Explainer. Every single day, we eat and drink without giving it a second thought. But right this very second, inside of you, there's a dynamic, high-performance engine running non-stop. It's working hard to fuel your brain and, just as importantly, filter out all the waste to keep you completely toxin-free. So let's dive into this incredible physiological journey.
Here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with the gut and brain axis, follow the trail down to blood filtration and waste removal, look at what happens when the system breaks down, and finally, pinpoint the specific nutrients for systemic health plus the foods to limit or avoid. So, where does our food actually go once it enters the bloodstream? It sounds like a simple question, right? But the answer reveals a super complex system. The nutrients we absorb totally dictate our brain function. But just as crucially, they determine how efficiently our body's exhaust system can actually rid itself of metabolic waste.
Section 1. The gut and brain axis. Let's start with ingestion and how our diet acts as a central communication network.
What's truly fascinating here is how the gut essentially acts as a second brain. We aren't just filling our stomachs, we're actually feeding a massively diverse microbiota. And these microbes, they use pathways, like the vagus nerve, to send signals straight up to our brain, heavily influencing everything from our memory to our emotions.
And what you eat directly dictates the quality of those signals. Fiber-rich foods nourish your gut microbes so they can produce these really crucial signaling molecules called short-chain fatty acids. Meanwhile, proteins provide tryptophan. Tryptophan is literally the building block for serotonin, that amazing mood-boosting chemical. And a massive amount of your body's serotonin is actually manufactured right there in your gut. Crazy, right?
So the key takeaway here is about balance. Omega-3s, like DHA found in fatty fish, basically act as a shield. They protect the blood-brain barrier and give your cognition a serious boost. But on the flip side, diets that are really heavy in saturated fats can actually tear down that exact same protective wall, allowing inflammatory molecules to sneak right in and disrupt your brain function.
Moving on to Section 2, blood filtration and waste removal. Let's look at how the body handles the leftovers.
To really put the kidney's immense workload into perspective, these two little fist-sized organs filter 120 to 150 quarts of blood every single day. That is roughly the volume of a large, completely full bathtub. Yet out of all that liquid, they produce just 1 to 2 quarts of urine. They are absolute efficiency experts.
And here is exactly how that physiological journey unfolds. First, blood rushes into the kidneys via tiny arteries. Then, the kidneys act like this highly sophisticated sieve, filtering out the toxic waste from the nutrients you need. Step 3, all the good stuff, like your vitamins and minerals, is safely returned to your bloodstream. Finally, the waste and urine move on down to the ureters.